Welcome back, everyone, to Aeos Clubhouse. This is Aeos Clubhouse number 9 on the eve week. We do the show weekly, so it's an eve kind of thing. On the eve of mobile release. Welcome, everybody, to the show. I'm Kyle Ferguson, your host, one of many. Welcome to Mockery. How you doing today?
Hello, welcome to Mockery. I am doing quite well. I'm enjoying myself, and I'm really looking forward to that mobile release. Nice. I've had a good week, and I'm excited to see what that does for the game. And how you doing, Kai?
Yes, joining us live from hotels afar with an elite setup.
Yeah, speaking of mobile release, I have been playing this game mobile. So, hello. I am traveling a little bit. I'm up in the Great White North of Minnesota, and I'm in a hotel room.
The target audience for such a mobile game.
Yeah, it's true. I would totally be ready for the phone version. I've been playing on my Switch with it tethered to my phone's internet, and that surprisingly works just fine.
So what that is that you go to your phone and you turn it into a hotspot?
Turn on the hotspot. Yeah,
okay.
Turn on the mobile hotspot on my iPhone, and then connect to that on the Switch. The hotel Wi-Fi is not so great, okay. So I've been using my own.
How has this not improved? It was not so great 10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know. Hotels, man. What are you doing?
They want stop cheaping out on us.
Right? They want to sell packages or something. I don't know. But of course, as this is the eve week of mobile release, as you can expect, things are a little quiet on the official news front. And it's absolutely expected. I have heard word that updating the Apple Store is a nightmare. And that if you, for some reason, are going through the approval process for your app, and you're like, oh no, we misspelled the, let us fix that, nightmare incarnate. Apple will hate you. They won't work with you. They'll make you delayed a week. So everything is kind of stuck in this weird limbo right now, as I'm sure they do not want to push through anything that would mess with their imminent mobile release.
Yeah, I've also heard that the App Store is particularly sticky. I have a friend who made stickers, not even a game, but if you have iPhone, you know what stickers are, and it was a nightmare getting those published. So
gross.
Yeah, it's just what you're saying about just reminds me of something that Pokemon has had to deal with as a franchise over like forever. And it's the fact that Pokemon, because it's like the biggest franchise of all time, to my understanding, one of them at least, it has so many different things that are all moving trains moving forward at the exact same time. So like they can't hold up the games too much because they got to keep up with the anime and the games, there's like the games, the anime, there's movies to it, there's merchandise, and delaying any one thing would have a ripple effect throughout like the whole sort of thing that they're trying to do, that whole company, you know what I mean? So it seems like I'm definitely sure that they're no strangers to having to work with like, okay, nobody disrupt the process. nobody delay this for everybody else. Just reminded me that's like sort of been a huge obstacle that they've had to get through just in the general operation of the franchise. So it's kind of interesting to see that even in something relatively disconnected from the rest of the media of the franchise, like Pokemon Unite's not throwing off any movie releases, anime releases, game releases outside of itself. Yet it's still got to kind of deal with those problems. You know what I mean? But I think that's just a sort of facet of putting anything out on the internet on a schedule. Is you really got to do what you can to keep tight for it. And we're right before a big release. So definitely just playing it safe for right now.
Yeah, being reacquainted with Pokemon in this sort of depth has been a bit of a trip. I knew, of course, that it was still ongoing. I knew that Pokemon Go was the internet and mobile phenomenon. I just didn't have a phone powerful enough to play it at the time. But they are constantly announcing new anime shows. There's a drawing contest coming up this week. There's something that's like made of cubes that's in Japanese that I'm not sure what it's about. Pokemon Adventure.
Pokemon Adventure?
Yeah. Or Pokemon Quest, I guess is what it is. And now it's becoming Pokemon Adventure or something. Like, there's so much going on there. And I constantly see people kind of yelling at the Pokemon Company or Nintendo for this game, but actually then it'd be Tencent who's doing this incarnation. And they'd have a lot of experience with the mobile front. But I have no doubt that it's rather wild. I guess the only bit of news that would probably, or at least the thing we're waiting on right now, is to see if we're all going to get a bunch of free tickets, which hasn't been announced yet.
Yes, dude.
I would be so surprised if they don't hit that goal that they set up, because I'm not saying that they're rigged, but I am saying in other mobile games that have done similar types of things, they might be rigged. So
I mean, why would you?
can you imagine them coming out and saying, sorry guys, we actually didn't hit the goal, so you don't get the prize? Like, can you imagine like that tweet from Pokemon? It will never happen.
No,
like
only 10 people signed up. No, there's no hype at all. I apologize.
We're so
you get nothing.
disappointed. Yeah, but they do a tweet longer and like, guys, listen, we're a little down right now.
Yeah, like it'll never happen. Like that would be ridiculous. So I assume we're gonna hit it one way or another.
I expect so as well. When it comes to the game itself, what have you guys been up to this week, and has anything changed in your spheres?
I finally bought Blastoise,
Nice.
which was super good. And I've been okay. So first of all, Blastoise is insane, and he came out and people were like, he has all these hidden mechanics. And then I just found out about a new hidden mechanic because it's part of a build that I haven't been playing much, where Hydro Pump apparently has distance-based damage.
Mm-hmm.
And
The farther away, the more damage it does.
I think
it's the other way around. The closer
I think it's
the
other way. Yeah, the closer you are, in increments of 799 damage. So you will deal basically 1 unit of 799 damage if they're, as far away as possible. And then if they're at medium range, you do 799 times 2. And if they're at closer range, you do 799 times 3. So the fact that distance can affect the damage of your Hydro Pump by a factor of 3 is actually just like wild and super, super important to know. And it just blows my mind that this character came out. Like, you have a game in Pokemon Unite where a lot of characters have extremely simple kits. And even Cinderace, who has a passive with like 3 different effects on it, 3 or 4 different effects, I look at Blastoise and I'm like, this is like a regular MOBA kit. Like a lot of characters in this, it's like, oh, I do my 2-button combo and I weave in some auto attacks. And then Blastoise, has a legit, like, just usual MOBA kit where he does a lot of stuff you expect in other games. And, I get this ability resets my other thing. If I go into Rapid Spin, then I reset my Spout CD, and then I hold Water Spout down. And then, but when I'm done holding Water Spout down, then I auto attack intermittently. Like, it's just the level of depth in it blows my mind. And the fact that we still have more mechanics coming out, I'm like, is this a sort of sign that like we're just going to get more complex with the kits over time? Is Blastoise like an outlier? I have no idea, but that's just been like so big for me right now. It's like I'm just over here playing my auto attack bunny, and I'm like, man, this is really simple and effective, but I can go big brain. I can go over here and play Blastoise and do all these big mechanics. So he's been a lot of fun now that I've picked him up.
Good to hear it. Are you finding the experience that I don't know if I'm like trying to flatter the game and be like, oh, you're such a wonderful game, and it goes, thank you so much. When I play Blastoise, I have this feeling like I wouldn't want to play this on mouse and keyboard. I really like the button spammy, and the sort of finger combinations I have to do here just don't sound enjoyable. Do you feel that way with Blastoise, or am I just trying to flirt with my Switch?
I don't know if I necessarily think that it would feel bad on mouse and keyboard, but I do agree that Blastoise's kit actually feels pretty good on a controller. I don't think that they necessarily have to be one or the other. I think that for his general kit design, that's something that absolutely works on a controller, and that's something that I had my misgivings about right at the start, right before this game came out. I was like, oh, how's it going to feel on controller? What are the controls going to be like? I'm still not a big fan of the camera angle. It's still way too far in, but no, I totally see where you're coming from as far as Blastoise being able to take advantage of a controller. It's really cool, and I definitely see what you're talking about.
I went over to your stream here, and I only saw my first pirate Cinderace. Oh my god, they jump in a barrel. I didn't know that for their heart.
Back animation.
Oh my god, it's my favorite part that he gets in the barrel. I can't look away every time I see it in a game.
This is a loud skin. I saw people making memes about how Cinderace only gets 1 skin, but this is a damn good skin. Like this is top tier.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the really fancy skins where it affects every evolution level too. Like he's a baby bunny pirate at the start, which I appreciate.
I've got my little like bandana over my head. When I back, I jump in a barrel. I've got my big flappy cape. Like, it all just looks really cool. I'm very, very happy with the one skin that I have. So when I looked at the battle pass, okay, I saw that there were 90 levels, and then after you get these like boxes, it's like you're not done with the battle packs. You're gonna still get, boxes, and it's gonna take a few more points than each level of the battle pass did. About 30 or 40% more points per box compared to a level. But you're still going to get stuff after. And before I got to the end of the battle pass, I was like, oh, that's just like something. That's just a prize that they just put in there after you finish the battle pass. It's not going to be that great, because otherwise they would hype it up more. So they're just going to give you something at the end so you don't feel like your battle pass is done. But no, I actually got to those like end of battle pass boxes, and oh my god, I think they are legit like the best levels in the battle pass. You can get the Hollowware tickets for Pokemon from this battle pass. So like I can go out and buy some of the paid Pokemon skins just from what I'm getting from the battle pass right now through these like late game levels. Yeah, and that is so wild to me. The fact that I can go out here and there's a 10% chance of getting 20 tickets, I believe is the deal. And the thing is, getting 20 Pokemon Hollowware tickets is a skin. Like literally, like you can just get that and just get one of the skins, albeit one of the lower tier skins. Like if I want Barry Snorlax, that's 60 tickets, and I'm not getting that after at least until after a couple times.
Well, of course, the quality is so high.
Yeah, dude. I mean, hey, you say it like it's not true. Like those
the
end of battle
skin,
pass
I
levels.
think is what, 16. So that's just, there you go.
Yeah. A lot of the really cheap skins are about around there. Stuff like all the ones where it's just like the fancy hat and whatnot. Those are all like 18, 20 tickets, something like that. So I don't know, man. Like I've just really been enjoying it. Just like, I know that things are kind of in a lull right now going into the mobile release. I checked up on our streaming statistics, and HOTS is actually pretty similar to Unite at the moment. Like Unite and HOTS are actually kind of similar in streaming numbers. Unite's dipped a little bit going into this, and that gave me, pause for a second before I realized, oh, mobile release is coming. Okay. So
right.
I don't know. I think we're in a good spot right now. Like we got those end of battle pass boxes that are insane. Blastoise is nutty. We got the mobile release imminent. And one thing that I super like, again, I know I'm just ranting about anything and everything right here, but there's been so much that's happened in this space in just a very small amount of time, even right before a big release, is we even got Bluetooth support for the Switch, which is something I've been like dying for.
Yesterday, they just tweeted that out yesterday. Hey guys, by the way, the thing you've been asking for like 4 years, here it is.
No, you don't need any new hardware. Your Switch was capable of this. All right, you have it now. Good, congrats. It's just like, huh?
I think we always knew the Switch was capable of it because Joy-Cons are Bluetooth. Like that's how Joy-Cons work.
See, I thought they worked off Mario Magic. I never made the connection. Yeah.
So from what I understand, if you are connected to Bluetooth audio, you can only have 2 Joy-Cons, or 2 sets of Joy-Cons, 4 total Joy-Cons.
Okay.
But if you don't have Bluetooth audio, you can have 8 Joy-Cons. So that's why they never had the Bluetooth audio in the first place. They were under this impression that people just had 8 Joy-Cons connected at all times. And I guess over the course of 4 years, someone clued that in, that maybe people aren't playing with 8 Joy-Cons, and they could do audio instead. I don't know.
Well, it's better than PlayStation that just assumes only 2 people ever want to play ever.
It's like the opposite problem. They just assume everyone's playing Mario Party with the max number of players at all times.
I've seen the commercials. I'm older than the dads in the Nintendo commercials. It gets kind of weird.
I was ranting about this to a friend last night. You were saying that, they assume only 2 people want to play. I was like, man, the things that made gaming great back in the day, I feel like are sort of, we're leaning off of them now. Like custom games, where almost every game genre that we played today started out as like a fan mod, you know what I mean? Like a custom game. And local co-op was always such a big deal. And really, at least that was like a big part of my childhood, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I've got Halo, I've got an Xbox, everybody come to my house on Friday, that kind of thing. And I feel like all that's just going away. You know what I mean? A lot of like the land support, the ability to create our own custom games. Because we saw even with Warcraft 3 Reforged, when you made a custom game in that was Blizzard's intellectual property.
Yeah.
And in the short term, I get why they're financially incentivized to make that move, and why Blizzard in particular would not want to let another mod slip out of their fingers like happened with Dota. But I lament every day the fact that we're not fostering the same kinds of things that drove the growth of gaming. Not necessarily as much with the local co-op nowadays, although it's still a really nice feature, but especially with like custom games, the creation of that. I feel like so much that was integral to the growth of gaming in the past is just sort of being tossed aside now, and it makes me a big sad boy every time I think about it.
No, it's true. And
I guess we title this episode "Mockery Hates Capitalism."
Yeah, totally.
Well,
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that's what happened. They didn't want to miss out on the potential money, so creativity took a backseat to potential revenue.
Well, and Dota has such a insane way of counteracting, or at least involving the audience. It's a bizarre feature where basically there's full-time Dota skin artists who make skins for Dota, and then they sell them in the Dota shop, and the Valve creation doesn't really bother with as much control when it comes to what goes inside the game, as opposed to something like Blizzard that we saw for Here's the Storm, just in art skin, just in-house skins. And of course, Pokemon Unite being a mobile game, and here on the Switch, there's not really that idea yet. We got Mario Maker, though. I guess it's not impossible that we could get some sort of drag and drop map maker.
Yeah, and Mario Maker, I've seen such creativity coming out of that. I've never played even a single second of that game, but some of the stuff they've made in it that I've been able to see is so cool.
Oh yeah, I like watching other people get mad. I in particular
there's some violently hard levels in Mario Maker. Like, people are straight up sadistic in some of the levels that they make in that game.
Yeah, no, I'm not. All my points, my character sheet, it's all MOBA points. I don't have any points in shooter, and I've got none in platformer. And I've got I multi-classed into MMO at some point, but not entirely.
Mm-hmm. Yes, dude. I've been playing MOBAs and MMOs like my whole life. And when I did play shooters, it's when I was 10 years old on my Xbox, with a little controller in my hands on the couch. So my friends, like people will come and chat, for example, even. And also my friends will say this to me. They'll be like, "Oh, Marker, you play Tracer in HOTS. Can you play Tracer in Overwatch?" And I'm like, no, not even a little bit. I don't have the aim, you know what I mean? I can give me an isometric view of my character from overhead, and I will direct them around like a baller. But put a reticle in the middle of my screen and force me to look around in a first-person view, and I will do a really good job of painting an outline of the enemy characters in the wall behind them, with how much I will miss all of my shots. So I totally get it. I relate 100%.
See, my sweet strategy is I take my weapon of choice and I aim it slightly upward, and then I walk in a grid pattern, and eventually I'll find your head. See, I don't actually move the gun, because that's hard.
That was the most GoldenEye thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, no dual sticks there. That's a good point. Probably where I learned it. Actually, yes. It
was recently pointed out to me that I actually spend a lot of time playing shooters, or a shooter, because Red Dead is a shooter, apparently. I never really thought about that aspect of it. I call it horse game for a reason, right? I'm only there for one thing. But my key to victory at the times when you have to shoot things is to always just use a shotgun, right? Big spread. Yeah. You don't really have to aim, just sort of generally point it at their center of mass, and you'll get there. So that's my strategy. Spray and pray.
Now, Mockery brought up a lot of different things. I'm not sure which to address immediately, but I do want to ask though, have I not noticed are there like no skin fragments or a hat on War Turtle or something? Is it just the skin on Blastoise at the end?
Correct. It's just Blastoise. Only a couple of the skins.
Oh.
Only a couple of the skins in the entire game apply to the baby version of the Pokemon. I think it's only Captain Cinderace and Pilot Talonflame.
Yeah.
I don't think any other skins affect the starters, right? They only affect Eldegoss's skin doesn't affect Glossyfleur.
Okay, I said this to Kyberries when the game came out. I said she mentioned the name of the Pokemon that you spend like 30 seconds playing before you evolve into Eldegoss. And I said, Kai, I'm gonna let you know this right now. Only cops know what the first level of Eldegoss's evolution is.
So when I make my thumbnails for my YouTube videos, because Eldegoss is so top heavy with that giant puff head, she just fits so weird on the thumbnails that I'm trying to put it in using like my rule of thirds or whatever, and trying to like put Eldegoss in a place that looks good on the thumbnail. And so there's always this big empty spot in the bottom right corner. And you don't want to put anything important on the bottom right corner of a YouTube video because that's where YouTube puts like timestamps and stuff. But I needed something there. So I just started putting Glossy Fleur there. Like, just a little. And so because I see it as an object so much in Photoshop that it says like glossyfleur.png, that's where I memorized the name. I played Sword and Shield. That's where that Pokemon was introduced, and I still didn't know its name. Like,
oh, okay, like Fleur, like
flower, glossy flower.
Okay.
That's its name. Glossy flower. It's a shiny flower.
Okay, because I was thinking more like, like Albertson's buffed, floor, a glossy floor.
Kinda, yeah. Well, because you've got Glossy Fleur, who's a glossy flower, and then you have Eldegoss, who's an elder glossy flower.
I just think
it all makes
you guys
terrible,
just say
right?
Fleur.
Fleur, like Fleur Delacour in Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's where my mind immediately goes. Yeah, is the
French flower word. Yeah, but I see the name written out so much in Photoshop that I have actually committed it to memory. But where that came from, that Pokemon doesn't get the skin. It doesn't get the bows until you evolve into Eldegoss, and almost every skin in the game is like that. I think it's really only the two, the Talonflame and the Cinderace, that have the skin the whole time.
That's fair. I mean, particularly if it's less tickets, no harm done.
Yeah, they're also the only ones that have any sort of altered animations, like the back animation on Cinderace. None of the other skins have. It's just those two.
Okay, so something worth getting excited about.
In Heroes of the Storm, when you go to buy a new skin, they actually have a list of what that skin changes. So it's like, this includes like voiceover effects, like voiceover filters, or an entirely new voiceover, or altered animations and spells and that kind of thing. And, I feel like when it comes to talking about Unite features, it's never really clear whether or not this feature is a complete wish that will never happen, or it's coming out in 3 days, surprise, surprise. But one thing that I would really like in Unite specifically is to have a similar feature that says like, hey, this is the specific stuff that changes with this skin. You know what I mean? So you're not sitting there at the store and you buy it and then you're like, where's my skin? Did I forget to put it on for the first couple levels of the game? No, like I would really, really love if they would specifically sort of delineate, outline exactly what gets changed.
If Unite had notes like that, it would just say alters skin.
Yes! Alters skin.
Skin altered, skin changed, skin upgraded, and that's it. That's all you would get.
I should have taken a cue from the patch notes and realized what I was asking for. What's up, Kyle? I believe you're muted.
Oh no, he's the one in charge of this ship.
Oh gosh, I feel like the pilot just passed out, and I'm just over here gripping the controls over his body. Can anybody
fly a podcast?
Okay, so
did I make it? Am I back?
Yes. Oh, welcome, Captain.
Okay, hang on.
The sniffing salts just woke up the pilot sitting in his chair.
Okay, we need to find out where we got cut off. Hang on, let me listen to the.
And realized what's up, Kyle?
It was when Mockery and I were memeing about the patch notes.
Perfect. I got it.
That was when that was happening.
For some reason, my thing. Oops, excuse me. Hang on. All right, there we go. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Okay, cool.
Are we good? I'm frightened. I'm so terrified right now.
We're good.
Okay.
I pressed the mute button, and for some reason, it killed everything. YouTube audience, you got to see this. All right, moving on. So, Mockery, you said that you're at the end of the battle pass, and it's awesome.
Yes, it is so good. Actually, like my favorite part of the battle pass, other than getting Cinderace.
So what happens next week when we get to the halfway point, which we don't know why there's a halfway point this season.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So are they going to make you buy a new battle pass, or are you just done? And in which case would you be happy with that? Like a whole half season to enjoy?
Honestly, I told my friend last night, I said, I hope the ranked season ends so they give me my 20,000 tickets. I hope that they can go ahead and just throw those at me so I can get a couple items up. And then I hope that the battle pass doesn't end so I can keep getting all these skins for free.
Okay.
Through the battle pass. That would be absolutely the best, or at least not entirely free. You know, I paid like $4 for the battle pass, but I personally would absolutely love it if the battle pass didn't end and I could keep getting a box every single day or almost every day. I'm not quite sure of the rate. And just rake in the tickets, rake in the... It's funny, right? Because there's 3 things that come out of the boxes. There are tickets, which is like cool item enhancers, and even some cosmetics. And there are the Pokemon Hollowware tickets that you can use in the ticket exchange. And I'm like, yes, I can get skins for my Pokemon. And then there are the tickets that you can use to trade in for your guys' clothing, like your guys' cosmetics. And I'm just like, oh, I don't care. Throw them in the garbage. Like, please just incinerate those. Please just give me the tickets and the Hollowware for my Pokemon. So every day, like, you're just sitting there rolling the dice, and they actually communicate the odds to you on the page. I'm sure that's to like comply with like, you know, Chinese or Belgian law or something like that.
That's actually
no, I mean, because those are 2
accurate.
prominent.
You got it.
Yeah, those are 2 prominent countries in terms of the loot box cases. And so, like, on the page for the loot box, they actually communicate the exact odds to you. And I'm looking at it every time, and I'm like, that's the low roll. The one with the Pokemon, the one with the player tickets, the cosmetics on just my dude, that's the low roll. And as long as I don't get that, I'm good. I wish I could just keep this forever, but I know one day it will come to an end. I have no idea. I'm looking at it right now. Season 1, first half, 6 days, 12 hours, 24 minutes remaining. And I'm like, don't you dare leave me. Stay with me. So I have no idea. You know, your guess is as good as mine on what that means when the end of the first half of the season happens.
Kai, where's your battle pass at right now?
I'm almost done, and I would be done if... so you know how pretty much every day you get a quest to do a quick match, and then sometimes you get a quest to do something in a quick match? Or those just might be the event quest to do something in a quick match. Either way, quick match is involved in the quests. I don't like quick match and never do it. So if I had actually done the quick match quest every day, I'd probably be done by now. But I never do that unless Mockery messages me and say, hey, you looking to do the dailies? And then says, we're going to do the quick match. That's pretty much the only time I have ever done the quick match.
It's 5 minutes.
I don't want to.
I love the Mockery speak.
Hey, you're doing your dailies? Yeah, no, that's like the only time. I did them each a couple times right at the start just to see what they were. Decided I hated them, and then never again. It's kind of like ARAM in League and HOTS. I did it like 1 or 2 times and was like, nope, this sucks, never going back. And then I just don't. I know, I hate them. I don't do that either.
Every new person that I add to my friends list in League of Legends always has a little laugh because my status is don't invite me to Earth. Like, do not invite me for Earth, which is ultra rapid fire. In League of Legends, everything is just super fast. The characters move quick. They've got hella cooldown reduction. And I'm like, yeah, don't invite me to that. Like, I'm good. I don't find it that enjoyable. And everybody always has a little laugh every time they pull it up. Because, you know, the main game mode, that's where it's at, right? Like, I'm here because I like how the game itself feels.
Yeah, that's me with the quick match. I don't like it, so I don't do it. And if I had done it more consistently, I'd probably be done with the battle pass by now, because that's a couple battle pass points a day, and it's been, over a month now, so I'd probably be done, but, like, no.
I feel you. I saw, 2 weeks ago, there was, like, a face Abra, and I'm like, who? Where, what? And then
yeah, those ones I am like, those are gonna end at some point, right? Those event quests to do all the quick match stuff, kill Voltorb so many times, kill Avalung so many times. I will not have those done. Sorry.
Which is, you know, anyone who loves the quick match, I apologize for calling it the lesser game mode, but does that mean we never get Abra and Alakazam and all that? Like, he's he's in one of those modes, teleporting around, and I want him to be a full-fledged hero champion Pokemon.
No,
Well,
I'm
if you
sure those are easy to
remember,
change out. I'm sure if they wanted to make like Audino a playable
yeah.
Pokemon, they could just switch out that lane minion with any other of the 900 other Pokemon that exist. Like the last thing they are is hurt for Pokemon. So
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about, just to do as I do and relate every conversation to Heroes of the Storm. I remember remembering how in that game we had Hellbats in a map, and then we added a Firebat unit, which is extremely close to a Hellbat. And then we had Gnolls on the maps as well, and we came out with a Gnoll hero. So I just based off prior history, I think that shows that having something in a map, as was the case in Heroes of the Storm, doesn't necessarily preclude it from it being a playable character. And they didn't even swap them out when those things happened. They just kept the same graphics and everything. So let alone what Kaya's talking about, which I think makes even more sense, to just completely swap it out and be like, oh yeah, remember how Abra was on that map? Well, now he's not, because we actually have Alakazam as a playable character. So to me, nothing is off the table right now, except like legendaries. Like I never expect to be able to play legendaries. I think that's just going to be like a boss thing forever. And it's
I
so
don't
weird
expect
because
to play them, but I do expect
yeah,
them to switch them around. I bet Zapdos becomes like Articuno
Oh, that'd be
someday and has a
cool.
slightly and has a different mechanic in some way.
yeah.
Like I could totally see that happening. That would be a great way to keep the maps fresh without having to make all new maps. You have the three bosses, specifically Zapdos, but even like Dreadnought and Rotom, you could just switch them out with something else and change the mechanic just a little bit, and then the whole map is different. The whole way you play the map, how you rotate, immediately changes.
I'd be for it. I'd be for it. Plus, then we'd know who quit playing when. So when they're all like, I quit because of Zapdos was too much, and we get to go, you see, you haven't played in a year. It's
Get a load
Moltres
of this
now.
guy. Yeah, this guy hasn't been playing the Arceus meta. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like how they do with Teamfight Tactics with sets, where they just change out 50% of the playable characters in TFT every set, and it's like I remember when playing, when this guy was here. I loved playing Jinx. Jinx isn't even in the game anymore. I remember Hextech isn't in the game anymore, and they just changed it around. Like I could totally see that.
Well, my Pokemon Unite experience was a little blissy heavy, and I must admit, I did go crustling. I crustled some jimmies all across the field. I felt like I was called too much to be a true degenerate. I was feeling the team plays. I saw things getting turned in the background, and I went, "Oh no, my team!" and would recall back like a fool. However, my win rate was fabulous when it came to just getting the turn-ins in, being a speed demon, and just going around wherever I wanted, taking some of that enemy Aeos energy. It just, without going full blown, I still felt like it was just incredible.
Yeah, you gotta ignore your team. I play that with Mockery. We're literally in comms, and it's like, yeah, we're really getting destroyed bottom, and he's like, that's nice. I'm turning in top.
I always feel so bad playing Backdoor Crustle with Kai, right? Because I'm dooming her to this 4v5 experience where the whole time, she's over here freaking out. The entire rest of my team has this job of playing a 4v5, doing what they can, getting what value that they can while outnumbered. And they're like, oh, this is so stressful. We never had the advantage on boss fights or anything like that until Zapdos. I rotate for Zapdos. And, I'm just over here carefree, I'm going to take this jungle camp and this jungle camp, and I'm going to turn in, wow, looks like you guys are getting wrecked over there. That sucks. And I'm going to take this jungle camp, and, people gank me, and I'm like, whatever, shell smash, and I just run away. Like,
yeah.
It's a completely different experience, although nothing warms my heart in this game more and infuriates me being on the other side of it more than just being Crustle in this strategy, running away from 3 people chasing you across the entire map, because you shouldn't be allowed to do what you're doing. You shouldn't be allowed to, persist in the enemy jungle for 8 straight minutes, but you do it anyway. More like 5, but still. Like, it's like I said, it's just, I don't know how Kai Berries puts up with it personally. I don't know how my teammates are like, "Oh yeah, you wanna you wanna play your own solo game while I'm sitting here struggling in the 4v5? Let's do it." So props to Kai for putting up with it. Honestly,
It's not really a Titan expert. It doesn't really happen. The Crustle on the enemy side just chased me the whole time rather than doing his own thing. We didn't really swap sides of it. But we all know that story a little bit. I got to play quite a bit of Blissey this week, and Safeguard is amazing now. That
is
shield.
that the just recently buffed Unstoppable?
Exactly. So unstoppable
they added
plus
the
a
shield.
shield. So you were making a choice against it with a heal. And I still go heal like if I have a very tanky team. But when you're running around with a Greninja and you got like a Cramorant and your whole team's just a bunch of squishies, oh my goodness, the shields and unstoppable get a lot done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's almost freed me up to, by nature being unstoppable, the movement speed is still extremely powerful and really nice to give. But I've been going Egg Bomb more and just having a really solid impact in an aggressive way on Blissey.
Egg Bomb is really funny. I've only played it in a couple ranked games, but every time I did, I had a hilarious good time. Besides it just looking really funny, because like she yucks the egg into the enemy team, and then they all get knocked back, and that's just really funny to me. It did more CC, more disruption does always feel good. I tend to gravitate towards the buff because I just want to help my teammates, but Egg Bomb is really fun.
It's a solid spike of damage, and the range on it is really solid too. Like I got some really good last hits when I was rolling with a team that was mostly melee.
My game I put on YouTube of my Egg Bomb game, I think the title is literally called just like Egg Bomb question mark question mark question mark question mark. Like, I was using it for last hits a lot, and I got so many killing blows as people were running away, throwing an egg at them. It was obscene, but it was really funny. I was an egg sniper.
It's good. Also, the big thing I noticed this week is like Gardevoirs have had enough time. They're pretty damn good now. And I'm getting wrecked out there.
You gotta watch out for the late game with Gardevoir. Early game, Ralts, you can farm them, but then once Krillia, and then especially once Gardevoir, avoid at all costs.
Gardevoir to me is such an enigma of a character because I look at them and I'm like, okay, so this is a character that you really just want a bunch of experience on. You want to maximize your experience. You've got a really weak lane phase, but a huge nuke ult. But if you put them in a lane phase, then like I said, they're going to have a really weak lane phase. And if you put them in the jungle, well, we all know there's a certain priority with characters in the jungle right now. People love their Greninja, Cinderace, and in some cases Zera or a jungle for the most part. That's what I'm seeing basically every game. It seems like everybody wants to play Greninja. So not only are you missing out on those, but there's another element to it that I've been really thinking about. And I believe Gardevoir gets her ult at 10, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that. And a lot of these other characters that I'm mentioning get their ults at 9. Specifically, Cinderace and Greninja get their ults at 9. And if your rotations are crisp, if you manage to get out 3 clears of your jungle, maybe even some turn-ins, get some crabs, even get a laner to give you an Audino, you can be level 9 for that first Dreadnought. But a Gardevoir can never have their ult for first Dreadnought. A Gardevoir will never have their ult ready because they have to wait until level 9. And I think that just makes the matchup into other junglers super awkward because when you are playing Gardevoir, you are risking the chance that the other guy has ult for first Dreadnought and you don't. And that, as we all know, has the chance to snowball how the rest of the game goes. So I just find her kind of awkward. Like, what do you, knowing that she has her weak lane phase and weak, or at least potential for being down at first Dreadnought, like, where does she fit in a draft? That's my big concern with her right now.
From a gameplay aspect, I just don't find that fun. Because of the time limit. It's something that I find seductive in other extreme MOBAs. It's not something I want to do in Here's the Storm, but in something like Dota, particularly like an hour-long match, just going for the first 40 minutes knowing I'm going to get a sweet 20 minutes of godhood, I'm okay with. And like Gengar is like on the edge of my tolerance. Like right.
Tolerance for late game power at the cost of early game weakness.
Exactly. Like I'm willing to wait that long, but first Dreadnought, I'm just about ready. Sometimes I'm a little late, and that's all on me. But otherwise, I get to participate and I get to start doing my hex stuff and getting real weird out there and really enjoying myself. I don't see myself enjoying Gardevoir, but she does just come through and clean up.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've all gotten wrecked by a Gardevoir ult.
I think of Gardevoir as the ultimate playing for Zapdos Pokemon, right? I've had enough Zapdos battles or the immediate aftermath of the Zapdos battle completely swung by a Gardevoir. I had one where we lost Zapdos, and as the enemy team went to filter through the choke on the left, coming like to dunk on our core, Gardevoir ulted and killed literally everybody. And they got no turn-in off of their Zapdos because they were all in that little hallway, and all it takes is one Gardevoir ult and one Gardevoir combo, and everybody is dead. And on the flip side, I've had us take Zapdos because everybody's grouped up on Zapdos trying to get that last hit, and then Gardevoir just sucks everybody into the black hole, and they're doomed. So that's how I think of Gardevoir, just the ultimate. We're playing for that last team fight, or just kind of right after that last team fight, because she will be at ultimate max power at that point, and if she uses her cooldowns properly, she can win any one single fight. Just
agreed. And I kind of like that.
I know some people hate that. They hate that about Zapdos, that one fight can swing the whole game. But since we're aware, we have this knowledge that that's how Zapdos works, that's what you're doing, in my opinion, with your Gardevoir and your Gardevoir player. You know that the game kind of is set up for Zapdos. The whole game is set up for Zapdos, and then this one fight is your team's win condition. So that's how I play around a Gardevoir. It must be grown and protected at all costs until that last moment.
I think too, we're in a state of the game right now where people want to be squeaky, which is perfectly understandable. Like, everyone wants to be the squeaky wheel, gets the grease, and people want to see how much they can influence and change this game, particularly leading up to that mobile release. But I feel like we do need to let this version of the game come out, and then we have to wait that maybe month and see if they're willing to adapt it, and if something like the Crustle business, or even maybe Gardevoir in this case, is a problem. And it's not maybe even a hero design problem. It's a problem that can be changed through map mechanics and how we change the time and the layout of the map.
Yeah, talking about map layout. Yeah, talking about map layout, just the big thing that stuck out to me about Kai's story, and Kai knows because I say this every time, is she mentioned how after the team came off Zapdos, they went through the throw hallway.
That one going out of Zapdos, but also going into Zapdos too. If you're engaging the Zapdos fight, coming through those two big choke points on the right and left is almost always a disaster. And Mockery does talk about it literally every game.
Every time, dude. I'm telling Kai, I'm like, I feel very strongly that if you want to get to Zapdos, 9 times out of 10, you got to come from above or below. If you're coming in from left or right, one Snorlax completely zones you out with Block because he fills up the entire hallway. One Crustle completely zones you out with X Scissor, same deal. Mr. Mime completely zones you out. You are clumped to get AoE womboed by absolutely anything. There's a bush that you can get immediately engaged on as soon as you're coming out of that hallway. It's a throw. It is a massive, massive throw. And I would love to see if the geography of the map ever changes, because I think every MOBA that I've played, the geography of the map, I never expected it to change, but it always did in many, many ways. I've seen that play out in Dota, Heroes of the Storm, and League of Legends. So that, to me, is probably, in my opinion, what I would love to see changed. That hallway maybe opened up a little bit, maybe shift something around. But at the moment, like, y'all were just talking about that, and I was like, oh, the hallway. I want to complain about it so bad. Because in my own games, every time a team gets wrecked, like, it's either, I was camping that hallway and the enemy team funneled through and we wiped them all, and I'm like, aha, these idiots, they don't know about the hallway. Or like my own teammates doing it, I'm like, no, you idiots, the hallway. So
hallway has set up so many tragic moments on both sides.
Yes, it's a focal point in my mind. So Kai telling her story about the ulting Gardevoir there, and Kyle mentioning geography, I was like, oh, it's the thing that I always think about in the late game. It's relevant.
Well, before we move on to emails and such, this. That's right. We're going to use a bit of music.
No reason.
No, to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/Aeos
those guys.
Clubhouse. Thank you, everyone who has signed up over the last week since we put this thing up. It was amazing. We had an awesome first day. We thanked a couple of you early adapters last time, but I want to make sure we give a special thanks to everybody else who signed up day one, starting with Carlos M, Spiff J Bug, Sarah B, Carlos M, again, pardon me, Christian M, Simon Dinosaur, and Kellen FS. Thank you.
I recognize a lot of those names, you cuties. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, friends.
We also want to thank anybody who signed up over the coming week, of course, such as Kellen F. S. I did it again. Pardon me. Mr. Batfleck, Rue Red Fox, Dallin B, and Stefan B. Thank you for supporting the show over at patreon.com/Aeos Clubhouse. We are very excited for our future goals that are developing as we speak. So head on over to patreon.com/Aeos Clubhouse. And now on to emails.
Was that Batfleck, like Bat Ben Affleck?
Oh, it might be. It could
Oh, hell
be.
yeah. No, I just heard that as I was going through the list, and I was like, Ben Affleck? Is that you? Is it the real Ben Affleck? Who would surely go around navigating the internet with the username Batfleck?
I don't think
he was that into the role. He's like, this is for life now. I've done it. I've made it.
I don't know. I've seen that interview. I don't think he wants to remember those moments. Mockery, perhaps approaching the mobile release here, you wanted to re-highlight to the community the held item system explained. Was there anything in this that in particular jumped out to you?
Anything within the scene of the held items? Or... Oh, I see. You're talking about the item enhancer chart that I linked in the Discord.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So recently in the Discord for the Aeos Clubhouse, we were getting into a discussion about item enhancers and what would you spend your item enhancers on, particularly in the phase of the game that we're at right now. A lot of people in this community, including myself, were getting to the point where there is an end in sight to where you have all of the items that you reasonably want at level 20. And again, items go to level 30, but increasing items past level 20 does not increase their main effect, only their secondary stats, which are by far the least important part of the item, and also by far the most expensive levels. And so I went ahead and did some math, and if you join the Discord, you can see the item enhancer chart yourself. I did some very intro level math, and the cost of upgrading an item from level 20 to level 30 is the same as about doing 3.5 items from level 1 to level 20. So right now, the big discussion that we've been having is, okay, do I get every single item to level 20? Even some of these items that have not seen any meta viability whatsoever, or items that aren't used in any characters that I play, do I bother getting those up to 20? Or do I just want to start getting items that I actually use in my main build up to level 30? And that's been this sort of, like big sense of internal conflict for me and some other people. Right now, just because the levels from 20 to 30 are not as impactful and so much more expensive, I kind of lean towards getting every item to 20. Because, like Aeos Cookie, for example, which gives you HP every time you turn in get a goal or whatever. That right now, I haven't seen be meta on any character. I've seen Master Talonflames running it. I don't know, they run a lot of turn-in items. I think that's interesting, and I want to look into that more. But, maybe I'll invest in that before I start getting things up to 30, because anything can change at any time. You never know when the items are going to get changed, when new items are going to get introduced, and as any MOBA player will tell you, with all the different little strings attached and moving parts, you can fiddle with one thing over here in the meta that has nothing directly to do with items, and all of a sudden have sweeping changes on the held item meta. So everything is so up in the air, and with how the costs of these item enhancers work, that right now, I'm personally leaning towards getting every item in the game up to level 20 before advancing anything past level 20. But I can totally see why, once you have the items that you reasonably can expect to use in your loadouts, why you might skip out on leveling some of those never used items and get your first stuff up to level 30 and just do the best you can. But that's been a big topic of discussion lately.
Do you have a personal preference?
Yeah, so I was trying to say there that my personal inclination, the way I'm leaning, is to get everything to 20. Because like I said, anything can change. They can fiddle with this or that over there, and that can have sweeping ramifications. We could get new items. The items themselves could be changed. Buddy Barrier is nuts right now, and it would never surprise me to see it nerfed. And all of a sudden, maybe nobody's running Buddy Barrier anymore, or, anything can happen. So I'm trying to play it a little more conservatively and be ready for any unforeseen changes. So I myself am adopting the idea of getting all the items to 20 first.
Okay, very cool. Would it upset you if they added new items? Would that be a betrayal of the system of which you had leveled?
I don't think it would inherently be a betrayal, right? It depends on the implementation. If they were to come out with some new item that was wildly broken and clearly mandatory in several builds or even all builds, such as if they were to come out with, Buddy Barrier 2 or whatever, then I would be upset about, a blatant cash grab that's like, your old items are now obsolete. Put new money and new time into this new item. I think that would be worthy cause for being upset. But just expanding the list of items that we have, I think that can be a good thing. I don't think that's inherently a good or bad thing. It largely depends on implementation. If they make our old stuff obsolete, then it's a problem. If not, then I think that it can be a good thing, like I said.
What's your opinion, Kai?
I don't think I'm going to get every item to 20. I play a little more limited of a character pool in the first place. So, I just added Blastoise, and I started looking at a couple other damage dealers because I only play like one or two. But I am getting everything I play kitted to 20, and then I'll probably go back and do those to 30. I'm not there yet because just adding Blastoise. Now, I think I was just finishing up Score Shield. And then back with Eldegoss, people are flipping between, is it Muscle Band or is it Focus Band? I don't know. So I got to go, those bands leveled. But once I get everything I think I'm reasonably going to use to 20, I will probably start doing them to 30 one at a time. I'm not going to do like Aeos Cookie, right? Like I don't use that on anybody I play. That's pretty niche for only a couple Pokemon in the first place. So like the cookie's out is not happening. But I don't have anything at 30 yet. I haven't pushed for that. I'm working on getting everything to 20. There were some that I used early, like the Shell Bell, that I don't use anymore. And I got Shell Bell to 20. Woo! So that's there. So I've got other stuff to work on. But once I get everything I'm pretty positive I'm done with, then we'll start working on getting stuff to 30.
Are you still running the XP share?
Only on Eldegoss.
Okay.
Literally only Eldegoss. I don't play Blissey a lot. I just really have a fraught relationship with Blissey. But I don't run it on Blissey. Only Eldegoss, I think, is the only place I get any value out of that. But I do. And when I look at the other high tier Eldegoss players, they do as well. Some people do on Blissey, some people don't, but it's pretty common to see on Eldegoss at the high ranks.
Well, let's get into some emails here. Our first email is from Doom. If someone was interested in a competitive scene of this game and would like to join a team, where would one go to do so?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I was going to say, I feel like that's a shot question, man. When he was on here, I feel like we missed that out a bit.
I see people putting together these amateur leagues, like tournaments, and I see the teams that play in them interact a lot on Twitter. So maybe Twitter is the answer, but...
Yeah, I would definitely say as far as sort of connecting to the pulse of amateur competitive side of things, which you're not going straight pro, you know what I mean? You got to go through amateur in almost any scenario, unless you're already a pro coming into it. And even then, a lot of the times, those guys still do it. And a lot of times when you're trying to get the sort of pulse on the amateur scene of something, You need to be involved in the Twitter groups of that, and you need to be involved in the Discords. And a lot of that stuff is going to get publicized through those two means. I would love to look into this question more and offer you specifics next week on that one. I'm going to go ahead and put a note down to do that. But for right now, that is all the advice I can give you, is just be sort of visible in the scene where a lot of players congregate, because of course that's where messages to a lot of players are going to get shown about how to play competitively on the Twitter and Discords. But I will attempt to give you more specificity next week.
Yeah, and I don't know if
I signed up for a couple of the amateur tournaments via Twitter. I didn't get picked, but that's where I've seen a lot of conversation happening. Good luck.
Yeah, it hasn't been a big topic on their Reddit either. I know that their the Reddit Discord has a channel for it, but it's also very kind of hit and miss as to what is actually being organized right now. So I figure we're kind of on the edge of that sort of thing, even being developed.
Skews fairly casual.
Yeah.
Just the main Pokemon Unite Reddit skews very casual. I wouldn't be surprised if an amateur team develops a Pokemon Unite competitive Reddit, a separate subreddit develops. Most MOBAs have that, where they have the main Reddit and then a separate one for a more competitive bent.
Yeah, same thing that happened in Overwatch.
Yeah,
Overwatch had the same deal.
Mm-hmm. And I also bet that there is a more competitive leaning Discord specifically out there somewhere. That's probably a more private one. Like that probably already exists and you have to get an invite to it. So good luck.
Our next question comes from Kai. I was wondering what your opinions on the matchup that would be most tilting are.
So to be clear, this is a different Kai from the one that I am watching right now. That would be KAI. Is
Did you see my reaction? I was like, I didn't say anything.
What matchups would be most tilting? There are definitely some. Garchomp, actually, surprisingly, I expect to be, if he ever gets more into the meta, to be the source of a lot of matchup rage, because he just destroys certain melee duels. His ability to reflect melee damage back and really put on the hurt when in melee range for extended period of time can really just make him shred surprisingly, especially if you're not familiar with how his damage ramping works. So if we ever see Gardevoir is the mage. Garchomp. If we ever see Garchomp in the meta, it would not surprise me to see a whole lot of melee players get very upset. As for right now, as far as matchups go, I know that a lot of people, specifically the one I've heard the most rage about has been Slowbro into Ninetales. Because Slowbro will walk up, try to telekinesis Ninetales, Snow Warning goes off, interrupts the telekinesis, and Ninetales walks away scot-free. It is extremely hard to actually land telekinesis, from what I've heard, consistently onto Ninetales without it just getting broken, without literally any action by the Ninetales player, and then slamming your face into your keyboard in frustration.
Wait, don't you? They have to be like pre-stacked though, right? To even get frozen?
To my understanding, what I've heard is that Ninetales' partial CC effect, like the one that she builds up over time, is enough on its own to interrupt telekinesis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I don't know the exact dynamics of how that matchup works exactly, but I've heard a lot of people be like, yeah, as Slowbro trying to telekinesis Ninetales in many situations is a waste of time. So that to me definitely is the first one that jumps out as a super tilting matchup, as if there's a character on the enemy team whose your CC just doesn't work on, then yeah, that's pretty tilting.
That's pretty intense.
My answer to this as the bottom lane support player is if the enemy team has a Lucario and I don't. Doesn't matter who I'm in lane with. If it's not Lucario and he's on the enemy team, I'm tilted because Lucario will win, right? The only thing that will stop a Lucario from winning that matchup is if I also have a Lucario, and then it's Lucario versus Lucario, and it's a skill matchup. He will bully us off of every piece of farm. We will lose so much XP. It feels often like there's nothing you can do about him. He is such a bully for the first 5 levels. It's awful. So when I see a Lucario bottom and I don't also have a Lucario, I know we're about to be in for a bad time.
That's the thing with me. I look at these characters that are fully evolved from the start of the game, and I kind of expect them. I'm like, okay, you've got greater early games. So that means your late game must be comparatively worse, right? And I'm like,
No.
I don't, I don't think that's necessarily the case with how I see Lucarios who are super good early game. It's like, oh, you wanted to contest neutral into Lucario? No, he's got damage nukes already. You know, you're not getting that last hit. And then it's like, ah, yes, this character will be weak late. No.
Yeah, and then even of the no evolution Pokemon that are strong early, like Pikachu or Cramorant, Lucario is stronger than all of them anyway. So even if you're like you have a Pikachu and they have a Lucario, you would think, oh well, you know they're both fully evolved, so this is pretty even. No, it isn't. Like he's just a terror in that matchup. So if you're looking for a Pokemon to play, you don't know what you like, and you want to feel good all the time, just I don't play Lucario, man.
Absol's my one for that. I think it's because Lucarios don't quite have it together where I'm at, but Absol just shows up with a bunch of teleporty noise, all this anime stuff, just all over my business, and just an ability to stick to me. And it's crits, you know. I'm not gonna ring the. I am gonna ring it. Okay, I'm ringing the RNG bell. I'm like, ding, ding, ding. Ah, no, this feels bad. This was random. I think I'd die anyway, just a couple seconds later, knocked out.
Yeah. I was
When
gonna
I
say
see
with
an Absol, I know that I'm dead. I'm pretty sure we're gonna win the team fight because I don't think Absol's super great overall, but I'm gonna die. Like if she targets me as Eldegoss, I can't live through that. So if I see an Absol, I know at the very least I'm dead. I just hope everybody else makes it out okay.
You absorb the burst. Tactical.
Her burst is insane. I have no hope of ever escaping that or healing through it. Like I will die. My fate has come when I see Absol rotate in.
But maybe that's the thing about it, right? That now they're spent and they don't go on to continue winning team fights like Lucario might.
That's the hope for my team. I'm like, I will die for you, and I hope you all can carry on the torch.
I just feel like whenever I see an Absol, somebody's getting deleted. It's either Absol's prey or Absol himself, because he's not exactly the tankiest guy around. And I've seen a lot of players that walk up and ult 4 people and expect to pop at least one, and they don't, and then they just get deleted. So he seems like the prototypical glass cannon, you know? Archetypal, I'm not sure. But either way, he seems,
I liked it.
He embodies the concept.
Selly BX251 asks, at what point, Beans, do you start seeing global ranking in ranked? I'm around 1,250 and it's not showing up for me. It still says I'm 0.
All right, Celebi, we both know this isn't a real question, Celebi. You just wanted to flex that you have more ranked points than me. I get it.
Ooh.
Meet me outside. This was the most heartbreaking question that we've gotten. Because, you know, when you get into Master, you have 1,200 ranked points. And when I got into Master, I had 1,200 ranked points. And then I won a game. I was at like 1210, 1215. And I had like a ranking. I was like number like 5,000 in the world or something. And I was like, oh, cool. And I slowly lost my points over time. I went down to like 1,100. And I was like, oh no. And I've been working my way up. And I got to 1,185 this past night. And I was like, yes, I could start to have a ranking again soon. And as soon as I'm saying that to myself that I'm going to get back on the ranking, I see this question from Celebi in our show notes. That's like, I'm at 1250 and don't have a rank yet. And I just felt my hopes just evaporate.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh no, I'm not getting back on that ladder anytime soon. So, Celebi, to be honest with you, I don't know. You got more points than me right now, dog.
I'm just gonna say it's a lot. It's a lot of points because there's a lot of people in Master. So
yeah, I've been looking at some of these streams and people are like, "Oh, yep, streaming 1,900 points," and I'm just like, "Huh?" Like maybe I just have been playing too much 2K and Witcher 3 instead of just being on that Pokemon Unite grind. But good lord, man, I don't know. But when you find out about it, please let me know, all right? Because you're ahead of me right now.
I'm getting it up right now for the global ranking. Oh, okay. So this says that the top global master is currently 2,345.
Okay, so that's the number one guy.
Yeah.
And I have no idea when you actually can like sort of see your number rank yourself at what points you actually have to get.
Right. This is going to list what the top 100, just the top 50.
Yeah. And you, because the highest rank I ever saw for myself, like one time it was like, oh, you're number like 7,000 or something like that. So I don't know if it just shows like the top 10,000 on your own individual page or whatever, but it's somewhere. The cutoff is somewhere.
Okay, so the top, the last spot, 100 of 100 is 1,981. So you said you place in at about 1,250. So yeah, you gotta.
You place in at 1,200, just flat.
Okay, 1,200.
And this guy is 1,250, asking when they're gonna see their rank. Because the difference in the publicly visible ladder of the top 100 and you being able to see your place, which I guess starts at being in the top 10,000, if I had to make a guess, those are going to be significantly diverged in points.
It's super cool seeing so many Heroes of the Storm names in this top 100.
Oh yeah. No, you scroll through the Pokemon Unite leaderboard and it feels like you're looking at HGC rosters for how many Heroes of the Storm players you have in there.
Look at you guys. I mean, you both are on the top of my ranking list, you know?
Oh,
my friends list says Mockery followed immediately by Kai Berries in spot number 2.
It's a good place to be. Right behind Mockery. Not in any other video
I don't make
game,
any comparisons.
Well, nope. As we head towards the end of this episode, we head towards a very important time for Pokemon Unite and this show. The mobile release is about to happen, which means there's going to be a lot of people checking out our little show around here. We really appreciate you all, of course, supporting us over at patreon.com. /Aeos Clubhouse. But we also want to take a quick moment and thank everybody who's given us iTunes reviews. There's a lot of you that have reviewed us across multiple websites. iTunes is the aggregate source for so many of these rankings, reviews that happen on over every single podcast app, no matter what you use. So this week, I'd like to thank Marvelous Mike 28, who has currently the most helpful review and a very flattering review as well. It's very well written. However, Coolish.
Yes, thank you, Magic Mike.
Yes, but Coolish Hero wrote,
I loved your movie.
Come for the Pokemon, stay for the velvety voice of Mockery.
Ooh.
And then The Rar wrote, this group of folks are daddy for sure, which I think is a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That's the highest award that we could earn in the current era of the internet, Kyle.
Excellent.
That is our Medal of Honor.
Oh, perfect.
Wear it proudly.
Well, congratulations, everyone, on being daddy. Should I be saying this?
Not going to say it.
Is this allowed? Am I allowed to say these things?
Yeah, no, we're doing great. We're doing great. Carry on. I'm not calling anybody daddy-o, but we're continuing.
All right. Well, this reaches the end of the show. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting and giving us reviews as well. Kai Berries, where can you be found on the web when you are free of your hotel binds?
Yeah, this week you can't really find me anywhere. But in general, twitch.tv/KaiBerries, KIYE. I also have a YouTube, one just for Pokemon Unite, one for Heroes of the Storm. Find me on there, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere at Kai Berries. Just, maybe not until next week because I am in a hotel right now.
Mockery.
Hello, I am Mockery TV. That's MOCHRIE TV. My big 3 platforms are Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. And that's where you'll find me.
Excellent.
What about you, Kyle?
Well, I am Kyle Ferguson.
How many S's, Kyle?
2 S's in Ferguson. And you can find the show over at kyleferguson.com, including the RSS feed and any sort of other individual downloads you may wish to do of this very show. You can find my stream at twitch.tv/Kyle Ferguson. I stream Pokemon Unite on Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m. Pacific. By the way, we're going to be moving the show permanently to Wednesdays, this spot that you saw right here if you were live, in order to catch all the goodies and patches and whatnots that tend to happen on Tuesday night, midnight Pacific time, and Wednesday morning with the announcements of such things. So this will now be the official time and also the official news show for Pokemon Unite. Self-proclaimed a little bit, but I like it. Other than that, thank you all for listening this week. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week with the mobile release. The game is out full. Bye now.
Thank you so much, friends. See you later.